Hi guys, this is the Rambler. Please like and subscribe to my videos. All right, my peeps, I gotta say it. I gotta fucking say it. I think Marvel's back, baby. I think it's back. It was hitting like a goddamn zombie bite this episode. Marvel's season 1, episode 3 of the zombie show just fucking took me off guard. I gotta say, I think Marvel is back. I know people have been saying it after Thunderbolts, but I truly believe it. This episode was absolutely insane. First of all, we get Peter Parker narrating the tales between Black Panther, Ant-Man, and him fighting Thanos. Now, as you remember in the What If series, we get a little glimpse of that, right? Of, Peter Parker surviving, and, we never really saw anything after that. But I guess they're reconning the show with the What If series. It's a nice little continuation. I like the narration part by Peter Parker. He's talking about basically them fighting Thanos, how all hope was lost. And then Black Panther, fucking takes him out, right? Also, it was great seeing Black Panther back on the screen again. It was kind of jarring that the fact that they didn't get a voice actor to play Black Panther. He literally did not say anything. It was a little strange, not gonna lie. It got to the point where Peter Parker, he basically said that, he couldn't hear Black Panther say Wakanda forever, but he could feel it. That was kind of weird, but hey, they're just showing respect to Boseman, I think. I forgot his name. Chadwick Boseman, yes. So I can't hate on that, right? Wakanda forever. Let's just respect it. I guess they don't want to bring a new actor. It is what it is, right? But basically, they show the fighting between those two. And then they bring Thor in that bitch. So, in that iconic scene in Infinity War where Thor comes down and he's like, Thanos! With Rocket Raccoon and shit. He comes down, right? They're just playing that part in this series, I guess, as saying that instead of the Avengers Infinity War part, that was actually the zombies when Thanos became a zombie. So, I'm thinking, all right, he's about to fucking wreck shop, right? No, Thanos fucking blasts a fucking hole in Rocket Raccoon's fucking head. Fucks Thor up, leaves him all scarred and burned up. And, and then they go from there, right? Peter Parker, he's like explaining this to, at the Sorcerer Supreme's like little den, I guess. He's basically explaining like the little story to like the little kids. And then we see like, these different sorcerers talk to, Spider-Man and, Ant-Man. By the way, Ant-Man's still doing the whole fish tank from Futurama bit, I guess. It's pretty interesting. He didn't really say anything. But then, like I said, then we, skip a little bit forward. We have, your boy, we have your boy Lesky, aka Red Guardian. He's still feeling sad over the loss of, his little daughter, his little bear. That's what he calls her. And, he makes a very touching speech. He basically says we have to honor the dead. Him and Kamala have like a little very touching moment. I thought that was great. Like I said, he's supposed to be comic relief, but he's very serious, very dramatic in this episode. He lost his baby girl, so of course he's gonna be upset. Then we get to the spot where they're basically they go see Valkyrie, the new Asgard place. Valkyrie's still acting kind of like a cunt. But she's basically saying, hey, this place is for, higher beings. You mortals aren't welcome. That boy, the moon god, who's attached to Blade right now, comes out and basically said, motherfucker, do you know who the fuck I am, bitch? And she fucking gets in check real quick, opens up the doors for him. They come through and they're like, see this kind of like little paradise and shit. Everything looks good. But then it comes to find out that actually Scarlet Witch is there. She fucks up the vibes real quick. You can kind of tell she's off, but you're not 100% sure. She's saying, oh, no, I'm not, the queen of the dead, because Kamala accuses her of that. She was like, do I look dead? And I was like, damn, that's a good ass question. She don't look dead, so she might not be. She had me running for a little bit. But then, of course, she fucking flips shit, like Wanda always does. And by the way, Marvel has a fucking hard on for making Wanda some like evil ass bitch, bro. Like, it's very strange. They just want her to be like this. I guess she is kind of evil, but she's just doing too much sometimes in these different stories and iterations of her. So she fucking like basically shows the whole Asgardians that, hey, I actually been allowing y'all to eat fucking hands and shit, fucking zombie meat. They all freak out and shit, and then all hell breaks loose, right? And by the way, we had some important characters die in this episode. We have your boy Jimmy Woo. Jimmy Woo, rest in peace, Jimmy Woo. You were funny as fuck in this episode. And then the Death Dealer, he tried to save Jimmy Woo, bro. He tried to fucking risk his life. And he ended up getting fucking his shit busted in by a zombie. That made Jimmy Woo real upset, man. He was like, no, Death Dealer, you've been saving my ass. Even though you don't talk and shit, man, you have a good relationship. So he ends up dying. And also in this scene, we also see this episode, we also see a very, hurt Thor. He got his ass whooped by Thanos, almost his face burned the fuck off. And you just see him in a chair, kind of just chilling and shit. And, Valkyrie's like, oh, he doesn't talk anymore. He doesn't really associate after the battle. He looks very lost, right? So all hell breaks loose. They're running away from Scarlet Witch. She's fucking doing damage, looks evil as shit. Then Thor and Scarlet Witch, they have a final off. But Scarlet Witch gets the best of them. Basically Kamala, she's trying to save Red Guardian at the last minute. He gets bit. And then they also have that touching moment between Red Guardian and Kamala. She basically said, I'm going to honor you. That was actually kind of sad. That was actually a little sad moment. Like I said, he lost his daughter. Now he's lost as a zombie. So she basically tries to kill him, to get him out of his misery. I don't know if she succeeded, but, she did try. So Thor basically says, hey, you know what? Y'all need to go escape. Kamala's like, no, you're an Avenger. And he's like, nah, bitch. You the new Avenger. You feel me? And shout out to Kamala, man. She's been doing her fucking thing in this series. She has been fucking carrying some serious weight, bro. So after that, they try to get in contact with the Nova Corps. Comes to find out that the Nova Corps actually already knows about the zombie outbreak, and they don't give a shit. They're like, nah, you motherfuckers are infected with COVID, motherfucker. You better stay your ass over there. Because if you don't, we gonna shoot you out the fucking sky, bitch. You feel me? And at the end, you basically see the Nova Corps saying like, hey, you need to hurry up and leave or we're gonna shoot you down. And then it just ends on that note. So again, I'm very impressed by the series. Marvel, you're doing good. You got me invested. I was not looking at my phone at all. I'm impressed. Keep up the good work. I'm going to be back with the last episode and give you guys a nice little review. All right. Check y'all out later.